video is about Ayn Rand's philosophy of objectivism and the objectivists that subscribe to it. And to be quite honest, I can't tell whether I love or hate objectivism. I'm really split down the middle on it. I'm not an objectivist myself, but there are some things I definitely like about it, and then a few things that I don't like about it. And to start off, I'm going to give you the things that I don't like about it, and then I'll tell you the things I like about it. So, number one, objectivism is anti-Platonist, and then it tries to argue that a belief in abstractions or a priori truth is irrational, and of course I find that not to be rational, because I think in order to have any objective knowledge in the first place, you need to have some sort of a priori basis for it to prove it. And they sort of hold some, they're not positivists themselves, but they hold some tropes in common with positivism, I've noticed, in regards to this. And so I find that sort of irrational, because it basically tries to say we can have knowledge without a priori truth, which is irrational, and then it claims that that's rational, and claims people who do not hold to that view are irrational by default, which sort of bugs me in a way. But I'll get past that. Now, second thing is the meta-ethics for their ethical system. Now, the ironic thing is that in practice I end up agreeing with them 9/10 of the time on their ethics. However, the basis of it, they have a motivation-based philosophy of ethics, where ethics is based on selfishness, and then bad is based on altruism. And I don't think that's a valid way to do ethics at all. I think that ethics should be derived in a completely motivationalist way, and you can then abide by moral principles which are either motivated for selfish or altruistic reasons. So I think that the proper ethical system is something that a Mr. Spock type of character could derive from purely detached deduction of what is right and wrong. No motivation one way or the other to do anything selfishly or egoistically. Not because one has one's altruistic, it's because one doesn't have an ego. One's just sort of detached mind studying it. And then the last thing that I don't like about objectivism is the anti-theism that sort of goes along with it. And this isn't the case always. Some objectivists are different than others on this, but there is sort of a sort of religion bashing, which gets, in my view, and this is the case with anti-theism in general, not just objectivism, it seems very anal-retentive in a way. It's like, it's okay, you can either believe in God or not believe in God, whatever, but then there's this sort of like anal-retentive, having an attitude problem about religion, and I find that very irritable. And every society throughout history has had a major religion, and it's a natural thing for humans to be religious, because we're basically a religious species. You just look around the world, it's the case. So now, those are the things I dislike about objectivism, and now I'm going to get into the three things that I really like about objectivism. First thing is that it is a very very aggressively defends absolutes. And this is a good thing, because in academia we have this horrible problem with postmodernism and relativism, in either truth or values running hog wild today, and someone needs to get rid of that. And the objectivists are very good at just bluntly saying something is absolute. I'm right, you're wrong, and if you don't like it, well, shove it. And I kind of like that attitude. It's a little, has a sort of a bit of an arrogance to it, but I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Telling sophists they're full of crap is a good thing to do. And then the second thing I like about it is it seems to be a right-wing rationalistic approach to things. And most conservative philosophies are anti-ideological or anti-rationalist. It's almost like they pride themselves in being, dumb or anti-intellectual or something like that. That bugs me in a way. This is not conservatives today so much, although a lot of the tropes have sort of carried on from beforehand. And so they don't want to set up a, Russell Kirk, for example, wants to have conservatism based on opposition to ideology and not have any comprehensive ideology. And so the objectivists create a comprehensive ideology to ground things on, and I really like that, because it's giving fresh rationalism into the right. And the left sort of lost its rationality when it started imbibing derived and Foucault and all those people, but they claim to be rationalists now, but the Randians also claim to be rationalists, and so I kind of like that, because it destroys the leftist claim to a monopoly on rationality. Then the last thing that I like about it is it has this, and this is not really so much direct per se, but I've noticed this indirectly. They have this sort of subconscious will to power when trying to defend capitalism in Western society, which is also very good because there's a lot of crabby communists and so forth that are demanding that they be allowed to redistribute property and so forth, and the Randians don't have any of it. Really good example. I actually love this when I see this. Mr. Cropper, for example, saying that we should just go bomb Venezuela because they're taking ExxonMobil's oil. That's tight. I love that. Someone needs to finally give the little punks talking about socialists in general, a nice cram up the ass for thinking they can run roughshod over everyone's rights and get away with it, and then be self-righteous assholes about it. So, thank you guys, Objectivists, you're out there. I like you a little more than I hate you. It's just I'm split on those things, but it's a good thing you guys are out there. So, see ya. Bye.